In fact, Bitcoin was still on its way down, I think, by April the 10th. I can't remember what that flush out date was. It was maybe now. Maybe it was April the 10th, 2020. I can't remember. It was something like that. So I would say, yes, it's early for retail. I don't get many messages. I still have cynical friends saying, "Got to be careful with this stuff." I don't get them FOMOing.
Most of the leading cryptocurrencies plummeted at least 6% in the last 24 hours, according to the CMC Crypto Fear and Greed Index. The fear of cryptocurrencies and desire to buy them are shown by this indicator. Despite being a greed market, sentiment has slumped to its lowest level since early February. Since the 2024 Bitcoin HING is approaching, traders are monitoring for Bitcoin price declines. Real Vision founder and CEO Raoul Pal, a well-known industry figure, said on X that the crypto bull market is natural. The negative publicity has begun. Price drops can reach 35% before rising again. The market's job is to scare and mislead purchasers. Powell is confident the bull market will persist because it's not performing like most crypto bull markets. The famous macroeconomist even thinks this isn't a normal bull market and prices will soon soar again. A friend had a fascinating conversation with a famous hedge fund billionaire. It was discussed on the Bankless podcast. This group of billionaires will follow the motto, "If you can't beat them, join them." According to the unidentified millionaire, the other billionaires fear crypto bros will surpass them. A buddy believes Bitcoin will hit $200,000 before the cycle finishes in 2025 due to a new demand wave. He expects that. His claim is that things might heat up quickly if more people desire what's offered and there's not enough. He estimates Bitcoin might reach $600,000 in a few years. Some of Pal's talk with Bankless like this video. Follow the channel and enable post alerts for more. Post your comments below to join the conversation. Thanks and enjoy the film.
Earlier on the adoption curve outperform. So ETH killed it last cycle as a chain going from, it's been proven now, it's gone through its bad times, Lindy effect in play, okay, now it then exploded 47x from the low, right? And then established itself firmly as the second most dominant player in the space. If you remember last cycle, there was 3 breakouts, really. Well, 4. One was Luna, that went. 3 breakouts. One was Solana, one was Avalanche, and the other was probably Polygon. Now, who was the winner? Well, the one that got the most adoption ended up being Solana. It was the one that came from the bottom down 97.5% from this cycle, like ETH was the previous cycle. It's gone into now accepted as an adopted ecosystem at scale. Who's the next one? Who's the next Solana, the next ETH of this cycle? That's where the real money gets made. Because those first cycle, you got nothing to compare it against. You can't say, oh, it's already up 5x versus its all-time high. You've got nothing, just blue sky charts. And that's why you tend to get these ridiculous first-time runs like Solana last time. And I'm very interested in what that's going to be. I've got 2 or 3 ideas what it might be, but who the hell? I mean, I'm just not good at this bit. I'm good at the next bit, which is see what's getting adoption properly. And then that trade is relatively easy. This trade is more difficult to figure out what is it going to be.
Do you want to share any thoughts you have on like what it's going to be?
Listening to people like Chris Beniski, Melton Demirez, seeing what I've seen with stuff like the Sui Foundation, I go with the thesis that there are 2 ecosystems that are probably going to be in the race here. The layer 1 race, the big adoption, because layer 2s is a different conversation. I think it's the Move protocol. That's the Sui Aptos, may the best man win kind of game there, because it's different, it has a lot of different use cases. And then there's Cosmos, Celestia, and others. Those feel like, okay, that's the game to be played. Maybe Avalanche again, but doesn't feel like it should have happened. It got it last cycle. Doesn't feel like it's getting full scale adoption. It's kind of in that lower tier. Layer 2s, that's a whole different game being played out, but that's not this game. So that's how I'm thinking about it. And there could be something else entirely that I've missed just because it's not on my radar screen, because, when it happens fast.
During the interview, Pal also talks about 3 important things that he thinks might happen in the next 12 to 18 months. The first is that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will reach new all-time highs in 2024, just like they did during previous bull markets. This less hopeful situation only takes into account normal crypto fundamentals, like the Hing event and the normal bull and bear cycles that happen every 4 years. More and more wealthy investors and tens of billions of dollars coming into the cryptocurrency market through the spot market make the second situation more likely and more bullish. Bitcoin ETFs, no one knows how much prices could go in this case. The first scenario has a higher chance of happening, according to Pal. However, the chances of the second scenario happening are rising because more people are interested in spot Bitcoin ETFs. Let us go back to the talk.
So cast your mind back to the previous time. Okay, where are we? April the 10th. Half of everybody was still in lockdown at that point. We hadn't had the halving. In fact, Bitcoin was still on its way down, I think, by April the 10th. I can't remember what that flush out date was. It was maybe now. Maybe it was April the 10th, 2020. I can't remember. It was something like that. So I would say, yes, it's early for retail. I don't get many messages. I still have cynical friends saying, "Look, God, be careful with this stuff." You know, I don't get them FOMOing yet. We will all know because you get those messages. I've had a few, but a lot of them because they've, whether it's family members and stuff, they've kind of kept an eye on this thing for a while. But otherwise, no, retail's not in. And you know how I can tell? The easiest way is Coinbase active wallets.
Right.
So they have 110 million wallets or accounts, sorry. And as of about 9 months ago, there was 9 million actives. I haven't checked the last quarterly numbers, but let's assume it's like 10 or 11 million. And speaking to the guys at Coinbase, they're like, yeah, probably, assuming the market doesn't grow, which of course it will, it should be at 35, 40 million. Now, okay, the ETF takes some of that, but, most young people won't just buy Bitcoin. It doesn't take long before they're straight out the risk curve buying WIF and then derivatives of WIF. And then, back to our previous conversation about where are the use cases for blockchains and do we have suitable blockchains there yet? The answer is no, probably not in their current form. Now, many of these evolve, like Ethereum keeps evolving. It gets better and better. It makes greater opportunities. It created this time around the greater opportunities for layer 2s by collapsing the fees and all of this kind of stuff, right? We're getting there, but there is still space probably for 4 or 5 blockchains that dominate. And then over time, maybe it migrates down to 3, whoever they may be. We have no idea. Because even Bitcoin has come into the race by actually allowing some development on the bloody thing now. Right. Finally, Granddad woke up. And so I think it repeats for a bit. Then we're going to get at some point, whether it's this cycle or next cycle, we're going to have to ask ourselves, have we overbuilt block space? Because every capital cycle comes through this, right? The mobile phone cycle, the 3G, the 5G, the broadband, fiber optic, they all do it. So maybe that just means that everything past number 3, 4, or 5 just never recovers even close again. Maybe that's one way. Or maybe we miss a cycle at some point because we've got so much excess capacity. Don't know. I'm still thinking that one through.
It's been hard to tell what central banks, like the US Federal Reserve, really think about cutting interest rates. Rates will never go down, at least not to the levels seen during the outbreak. That's what most people in the market agree on. Friends, on the other hand, believe that central banks must cut rates and start printing money again because they have so much debt. With interest rates at 55%, Powell thinks that the Fed, for example, will not be able to pay the interest on its huge $343 trillion debt. According to the former Goldman Sachs executive, this is exactly what the gold market is looking for, which is why the most valuable metal has set new records several times in 2024. However, Powell is still very optimistic about the Bitcoin market in 2024, even if Fed funds rates stay high. Beyond that, what do you think about Raoul Pal's interview and his forecast for Bitcoin and the whole crypto industry in 2024? Please leave your thoughts and comments below. Make sure you also subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more movies like this, please turn on post notifications and click like.